actions, inshallah. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Before I share the slide, so there are basically just two things that we will cover in detail now, but two things I would like to mention that we have to keep in mind as we go along about the Arabic text specifically. So the first thing is that the Arabic text is written from right to left, whereas the English text is written from left to right. Right? So that's the first thing. We will see that as we go along, and it will sink in for those of you who haven't seen it before, and you'll see what I mean very soon. The second thing is that in English, I'm not sure in how it is now in maybe in the different countries, but I know in South Africa, I know when I was much younger, I remember that we were using a cursive form of writing English. I know later on in high school, we stopped using that form of the cursive form of English writing. Now, Arabic, however, is and was always and will always be fully cursive, right? So you always see the Arabic script being fully cursive. So that is the second point. So the first thing is that the Arabic is written from right to left, and the second thing is that it is always fully cursive, with a few exceptions of some letters. Okay, with that in mind, inshallah, can I get some reactions just to let me know that you got that? Okay, excellent. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, so the lesson one is an introduction, right? But it's an introduction to the Arabic alphabet, or the Arabic text, we could say, for to be more clear. I'm just trying to get the chat up here so I can see. Okay, excellent. I want the chat to stay here because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so I'll figure this out later on, how to pin the chat. Okay, anyway. Okay, so introduction to basically the Arabic text. So we're going to start with a warm-up exercise, right? So this warm-up exercise, again, I want to ask those who have some background of the Arabic language, intermediate, or maybe even advanced readers, to help us with this, and we will all benefit from this, inshallah. So tell me, when you see this letter over here, right? So this is an Arabic letter, right? It's one of the first letters in the Arabic alphabet. Can you tell me, can I get some responses on what can you tell me about this letter? So if I ask you to speak about this letter, right? And you can use your own imagination. Can I get some responses? Anything, whether it be its shape, its sound. Okay, I'm looking at the chat right now. Okay, so we have here ba. Okay, ba, the second, okay, that's nice. Ba, one dot down, excellent. It's like a boat. Wow. Lips are pressed together when you're pronouncing the letter ba. Okay, the lips are pressed, shapes like a boat. The second letter of the Arabic. Okay, so we're getting some common responses here. We're saying it's the second letter of the Arabic alphabet. We're saying it's shaped like a boat. So we're speaking about shapes. Notice that we mentioned something about shapes now, right? And the dot, right? The dot is also to do with the shape. We said ba. So the ba we're talking about, if you ask what is ba exactly, is that the letter's shape, is it the sound, is the letter's name? So that was a good exercise, and shukran to those who participated, and for also always follow the chat. We're going to be doing some a bit more of this. Okay. So now I'm going to ask the question, what do I need to know about a letter? Because we've done the exercise now practically, right? But we want to see if we can get some structure to sort of to our understanding when we look at the letter. So what we'll be covering today in this lesson, right? This is one part, and the second part we'll do some letters, right? So the first part we're going to speak about answering that question, what do I need to know about a letter? So the first thing I tell you that you need to know is the shape's symbol, right? And many of you guys indicated to this one, and you said it looks like a boat, dot at the bottom. So take note of that. The second thing we're going to speak about is the letter's name. And many of you said the name as well, letter ba. And don't worry, we're not talking about the letter now. We're just giving an overview. So don't panic, inshallah. The third thing is the letters sound, right? So no one mentioned that yet before. You didn't mention that it has a B sound, right? So just to be very specific. And there's another thing, and this is what I mentioned in the introduction, the two things that we need to remember about the Arabic script, right? The first thing is that it's written from right to left. The second thing, that's always in the cursive form. And if you're familiar with the cursive script, whether it be in English or any language, you will know that when the letters join either to the next letter or the letter before, right, it normally either changes shape. It will add a sort of a line that will help it join, or sometimes it changes shape a bit as well. So the fourth thing that we're going to discuss today about the letter is its cursive form. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the symbol. The first thing is talk about the symbols, right? So yeah, here we go. I want you to look at this. Now there are two ways you can look at this. If you're an absolute beginner, well, let's start if you're an intermediate or an advanced learner of the Arabic script or the Arabic language in general, when you look at this, you might recognize, okay, these are all the Arabic alphabet. You might recognize all of them. You might recognize some of them, right? And if you're an absolute beginner, this probably looks just like a bunch of squiggles on a line, and you are probably overwhelmed. That's okay. I want you to take note of something, right? I'm gonna bring them up one by one. Okay. With the exception of the first letter, if you look at these letters over here, and I want everyone to participate in this, whether you're a beginner or not a beginner, tell me, do you see a similarity between these letters? Yes, same shape, okay? Same shape. The same shape, the same shape. They all have dots, okay? So I like that, the same shape. Some say they all have dots and different placement of dots. Excellent. You guys literally summarized the lesson for me, right? So they all look like a boat. They all have dots. However, the difference between them is a difference in the placement of the dots. Okay, now let's look at the rest of the letters. This is an easy one. Look at these three letters. Again, can we just do that again? Can you guys tell me? Okay, the placement of the dots. Same shape. The ha is hungry. Yes, I agree. That's a good one. Also the same shapes. Okay, let's test the theory. Let's carry on. Those two. Yes or no? Same shape? So, similar shapes, yes or no? I want someone to say no as well. Same shape, same shape, same. Okay, excellent. Okay, and that? How about that? And those two? How about those two? These two? Here we go. Can we see they're all the same? Now, here we go. So most of the Arabic letters have sort of either twins or triplets. They have similarities. And then there are some letters that are really kind of lone rangers that they don't, if you look very closely, you will see some similarities, but we won't speak about that now, maybe at another time, right? So you can see this letter over here is kind of like a lone ranger. These three over here as well, they just on their own. They don't have any particular relationship to each other in terms of shape. And likewise, these four over here. So we concluded that most of the Arabic letters they are very similar in shape. They just differ in terms of placement of the dots, maybe just the placement of the dots and how many dots. And there are few letters that are really unique in a shape. They don't have any similarities. Okay, so what do we conclude from that? So we have the letter Ba. Oh, this letter over here, don't worry about its name. It looked like a boat, like you guys rightfully said. I knew you guys are going to say that. That's why I put the boat over there. Okay. So if that looks like a boat, and these three letters look the same, the different dots. Well, let's conclude on sort of like a principle or like a key from these things. Okay, so let's say key one, and key one is related to the symbols, is take note of similar symbols. I want you guys to remember this, because when I repeat this, and I might even ask you about this as we go along, I might ask you to repeat this. Everyone got that? The first key. Excellent. Good. Yes. Everyone got that? I'm only seeing 3, 6, under 15 people. I need more. I need to make sure that you guys are on. Okay. Guys, excellent, excellent. Okay, let's move on. So remember this key, right? Take note of similar symbols. Okay, let's talk about the names. We said the first thing was the symbols. The second thing is the name. Here we have in front of you the 3 letters English of the English alphabet. I want you to look at the names. The first letter, right, is F, right? I want you to take note of the first part of the letter's name. When you see the F starts with an E, right? And the letter G, its name starts with a G. The letter H, its name starts with an H, right? So now, is there a relationship? We'll see that there is somewhat a relationship between the letter's name and the letter's symbol. So the letter F, the sound of the letter F, the F, is found in its name. However, it's not necessarily the first letter in its name. The G, okay, it happened to be the first letter. And look at the H. I mean, what does its name, what relationship does its name have to the symbol, right? But we know the names, right? So the name is good for reference purposes. But when it comes to the Arabic alphabet, right, it takes a unique turn, right? 99% of the time, the names of the Arabic alphabet, right, within its first part, its first letter or the second letter together with the first letter will be actually the sound of the letter as well. So these 3 letters, ba, ta, tha, you would see that the sound is found in the beginning of the letter, right? Ba, ta, tha, and this is found in all the letters, with the exception of one letter. But we can even say 100% because some people don't even count that letter as an actual letter. Rather, it's just a another way of writing, of saying another letter. Okay, so if the letter ba, the first part of it, which is the b, right, carries the sound of the letter. The letter ta, right, the first part of it carries the sound of the letter as well, and with a tha, and all the other letters. So there must be an important principle that we can take from here in a lesson, something that we can use to make our learning experience much easier, right? I don't know if anyone can anyone guess what we would say? What principle can we draw from here? I'll give you guys 5 seconds if someone can quickly say something. Okay, so I will say this. Since the first unit, the first part of every letter carries the sound of the letter as well, I would say memorize the names of the letters with proper pronunciation, right? Because if you memorize the letter with proper pronunciation, most likely you'll be pronouncing the letter when it comes to the vowels, when you're adding the vowels, you'll be pronouncing it correctly, right? Ba, ta, and tha. Let's say you had a name of a letter that's going to come later on, a challenging letter. And the sound of the letter, in the letter's name, the first part actually carries the sound. Imagine you pronounce that letter's name incorrectly. You are then pronouncing that letter sound incorrectly. You then will make it difficult, right? When you do try to brush up on pronunciation, is that you have sort of 2 ways of pronouncing it. One way is when you read it with its name, and when you read it in a word, and it's kind of the same sound. So we sort of want to, from the beginning, right, get this right. Okay, excellent. Do you guys understand this point so far, the second key? Are you guys with me on so far? Okay, excellent. Okay, this is good. If anyone doesn't, if you're not with me, say as well. Okay. Okay. Excellent. So remember the first key. Who remember what the first key is quickly? If you can type it very quickly, if someone can type very fast, what the first key was. We spoke about symbols. Take note of similar symbols. Excellent. And key 2 is memorize the names with proper pronunciation. Okay, excellent. Okay. The third thing we said, we're going to speak about the sounds, right? Now, the sound is very, very closely related to the names because we said Arabic, all the letters, within the first part of it, you're going to find the letters sound as well, right? So like here, I brought this cute picture over here. So like you see the letter ball, right? So the sound, right, of the B in ball is B. That's in English. Okay, but there is going to be a kind of a twist here as well. And this is going to be interesting. You guys are going to like this, right? Okay, remember we spoke about the symbols and we said there are similar symbols. So if you're looking at this right now, you might notice the similar symbols already, right? But now you'll see that there's something extra that I added here. Why are some letters highlighted white and some highlighted dark or black? Here we go. White, white, white. Okay, here we go. Okay, who can give me some idea? Who can guess what we're talking about here? What do we want to say? They start with a weird mouth sound. I guess that can work. Okay, you have to pronounce them differently. Okay, they are different. Yes, I agree. They are different. The symbols, not the symbols. The symbols, they are similar to each other. It's not the symbols. From the throat, not entirely. Some of them are from the throat. And that is something interesting about the Arabic letters. Some of them are from the throat. Round mouth letters. Round mouth letters, that is not the correct answer because some of them that are highlighted are round, if you can use that terminology for now. Some of them are not, right? High letters, sounds are different. The placement of the tongue, vowels, no. So there's no vowels. Or you can say, okay, there is vowels in the Arabic alphabet, but not the vowels. Okay. Okay, the letters are full, no, right? Letters, some of them are full, which are highlighted, some of them are not, right? But most of them are full, right? But there's about two over here at Asia, two that are not full. Okay, so now, let me tell you very simply, no. If you look over here, the letters highlighted in white, they have English equivalents. Oopsie, am I drawing on the screen? So the letters highlighted in white, they have, oh, there's someone doing, okay, whoever's drawing on the screen. Okay, thank you for removing that. Okay, so the letters drawn in white, they actually have English equivalents in terms of their sound, right? We're speaking about sound now, not symbols, right, or names. The letters highlighted in black, they have no English equivalents. Now, quickly, can one of you or three of you just tell me which letters are more, the letters with English equivalents or the letters without English equivalents? Who's the majority? The letters with English equivalents. Okay. So if these letters, so many letters have English equivalents in terms of sound, do we need to worry about them? Right? We shouldn't worry about them in terms of sound because we can, most likely, if you're an English speaker, you can 80% or 90% pronounce these letters in white. Okay? The letters in black, they don't have English equivalents in terms of sound. So generally, these are the letters that some people might struggle with. Now, let me put it for you this way. Someone said Arabic is the letter of bod, right? And that is a very famous saying because they say that the sound of one particular letter that's called bod, it's not found in any language, any other language, right? And it's like a theory, and I think it's generally accepted. Now, even these letters, right, that have no English equivalents, even they vary in terms of levels of difficulty, right? So the letter, for example, some letters are found in other languages and not found in others. Some letters are found in the Afrikaans language, right? Or one specific letter, right? It's not found in English. So if you speak Afrikaans, you will already know that letter. Some letters are found in German, right? And it's in the German language. They're not found in English, right? And there are some letters that are just unique to Arabic, but inshallah ta'ala, we will try our best to see how we can learn those letters in the easiest possible way without having any difficulty. Okay, so let's draw a key from this thing, right? So if the letter B, for example, this letter over here, has an English equivalent, right? It has an English equivalent with the letter B, for example. We said B and B, it's both B, right? B, 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 B. It's the same sound, right? So key 3, focus your attention on the letters with no English equivalent. And what I mean by this is give extra attention. That's really what I mean. Give extra attention to these letters with no English equivalents. Okay. Are you all with me so far? Do you guys get this point about the English equivalents and no English equivalents and how you should look at the letters in terms of the sound? Okay, I'm glad everyone's with me on that. Okay, alhamdulillah. Let's go again. In terms of the symbols, what is the key that you want to remember when you're dealing with the letters, symbols? Quickly, the first one to answer, and we'll move on. In terms of the letter symbols, what is the first key? Similar symbols, excellent. Okay. The second key, in terms of the letters' names, who remember? In terms of the letters' names, we said that Arabic has a unique feature. Right, proper pronunciation, excellent. The first part carries the sound. Let me join Sister Hajar Abrams' answer and Guy B's answer. One said pronunciation, other one said the first part carries the sound. And then we have a lot of you over here saying about memorization. Excellent. So that summarizes the answer. So memorize the first part, or memorize the letter's name with proper pronunciation because they carry the letter's sound. Perfect. Right? And the third one is to focus on the letters with no English equivalents. Okay. Let's talk about the last aspect or the last dimension, right, of an Arabic letter. Right? Remember, these are general rules and principles that you can use. And don't forget, with anything that you're studying, many of you might agree with me, absolutely anything that you study, there is always exceptions to the rules. Right? And when you ignore this fact, right, that there are always exceptions to the rule, that is when you can become confused. So never forget this. So when you study something and you learn a principle, right, you understand the principle, but you also understand, right, that there might be exceptions to the rules. And when you learn those exceptions, identify them as exceptions. And don't confuse them with the rule. So sort of learn to deal with that, right? Learning when there is a rule and when there is an exception. And you must absolutely distinguish between them, right? This is the rule. Okay, that's an exception. I'll memorize that exception, but the rule is going to stay there. Okay, it's because we're going to come across quite a few exceptions. And if you remember that sort of, you go from that principle that every rule has an exception, it will make things easier. Okay, let's talk about the cursive form. So if you see over here, you see I have an English text written in the cursive form. Now, I'm not sure, now I think this is very close to what I remember the English cursive text used to look like, right? So I don't know any other part of the world if it's written like this. But anyway, you can see that the letters are kind of joined together, right? Now, let me bring up an Arabic text over here. It's worn cursive. So can you see over here, the Arabic text is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, right? It's found in the beginning of every chapter in the Quran. Can you see that there is the shapes are kind of joined together, right? Like this first shape over here, right? This first shape over here, this is not one letter. See, these are 3 letters, right? Right, and we'll speak about those markings on them later on, right? So can we see the letters? Can you guys see that? If you look at this Arabic text, can you recognize that there are letters joined over here? Now, where the letters Yes. Now, where the letters are not joined, where you see they're separate, right? That's because it's in a different word, right? So within a word, the letters will be joined, right? If you see a gap, it could mean one of two things, right? And we'll speak about this later on. But let me tell you now, it'll be one of two things. Either it's an end of a word, and we're going to move on now to the next word, or it's one of those exceptions that we spoke about just now. There are a few letters, I think there are about 6 letters to be exact, that sort of defy the rule of this for always being cursive, right? So they are sometimes cursive and they are sometimes not cursive, right? And we'll see in which situation they are cursive when we get to those letters. Don't worry, everything will be in its place. Okay, so now that we know that Arabic letters are in cursive, so if we take this letter over here, the letter ba, there's one ba. Let's say we add another ba, we add it to that, and another one. So let's take 3 letter bas, and if we join them together, and let's say they were a word. Let's imagine this was a word. There's no word that it has ba, 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 right? But let's say this was a word. This is how it would look, right? This is how it would look. Now, very common, when many students learn Arabic, the Arabic text for the first time, they assume or they think that this operation is kind of complicated, right? Because there's clearly so many changes. Like, what's even happening? These are the same 3 letters, right? That are joined together, and look how different it looks. But let me tell you, it's not that different. Let's analyze this portion, right? That letter over there is the letter ba. Now I want you to take pay very close attention to this letter over here, this letter ba. Let's just see what's going to happen to this letter, right? That's the letter ba as it is here in isolation. Watch what happened. What happened to it? Number 1, its tail, its end was cut off. That's number 1. Can you see it maintained its other part? Just look at the text above, right? So look at this over here and look at this over here. You'll see that it maintained that part. Okay, but another thing happened as well. The dot. Notice the dot is here in the middle. See what's happening to it? It's just moving to the right. And that's how you got that letter. Is everyone with me so far? Or is anyone lost? Oh, you can't see on your phone. Okay, sorry. Next time I'll try to make the colors much more noticeable. Okay, alhamdulillah. Now let's look what happened to the next part of this word over here. Right? Okay, here we go. It's the letter ba as well. I promise you that is the letter ba. Let's see what happened. Easy. Same process, right? Its tail was cut off. The dot was moved and it added an extension. Now, if you can't see, it's fine. I will highlight where the extension is, right? So the extension is here. An extension was added to join it to the previous letter. It's only logical that if the letters are going to be joined, they kind of have to be connectors, right? To join them together. And the last letter, the last letter is the letter ba, right? The same letter as well. And very simply, a connector was added. Now, what you see over here represents what happens to the Arabic letters in general when it's joined. This is exactly what happened, the exact same operation. Nothing more, nothing less, right? Except there are a few exceptions. Some letters have more shapes. So if it's found in the middle of a word, it takes a different shape. Its shape kind of changes, right? That's a simple thing. It's only 1 or 2 letters. The second thing is that there are some letters that just they can join, the letter behind them or before them can join to them, but they cannot join to the next letter. But that's not even an issue because it will just maintain its original shape, right? So that's actually even easier. So this was the hard part actually. Okay, so then let's make the last key. The last key is find the pattern in the cursive form. And when I say pattern, what I'm referring to is this over here. So let's go back. Let me go back. Okay. So this is what I mean when I say find the pattern. And once you find the pattern, it will apply to all the letters with very few exceptions. And really take note of this, because it's not very challenging, but you have to take note and you have to know what exactly you are looking for, and you will see the pattern. Number one, these are the same letters, right? Now remember, in this situation, we are joining the same letter because we're going to give an easy example. But in a text, you're going to find a whole lot of letters joined together, right? Different letters. But if you maintain that, you tell yourself, I am not confused. This is not overwhelming. There is a simple, basic principle that applies to all the letters. Okay, we said firstly, for example, in the beginning of a word. So this one represents how the letter will change. A letter will change when it is found in the beginning of a word. Firstly, its tail will be cut off naturally because it needs to join to the next letter. Secondly, the dot at the bottom or on top, wherever the dot is, but basically the secondary shape of the component of the letter shape, right? It will move, right? Now, it might be frightening if you don't know this specifically, but once you get it, that where the dots really are is not very important, right? The important thing is that how many dots are there, right? And does it have a dot or not? Because there are different fonts of Arabic. Sometimes the dot will be over there, sometimes on the other side, but as long as you know this letter has a dot and it's at the bottom, it has two dots, and the top, you're going to always figure your way out of things. Okay, in the middle of a word, the letter will lose its end, just like the first one. No difference. The dot will move, most likely it will move, and the only addition is that it will add a connector on its right hand side. The last situation is at the end of a letter, at the end of a word. At the end of a word, letters will almost invariably maintain its full original shape, except that will add a connector on the end, with the exception of about 2-3 letters that will kind of, its shape won't change completely, but it will kind of just bend a little more, or it will just be a little closed up. It's fine, nothing to worry about. These are the main grounding principles. We said find the pattern in the cursive form, right? And when I mean find the pattern, find the basic pattern. And then if you master this, you will be able to apply to all the letters. But if you do not master this, and every time you see an Arabic text and you ask yourself, what's going on here? That's not the letter I saw in the Arabic alphabet. It's going to be a problem, right? So we want to find the pattern in the cursive form. So let's summarize what we spoke about. What do I need to know about the letter? Okay, now I'm going to open the chat, right? Sorry, you can hear my birds in the background. Okay, so the first thing is the symbol. Who can tell me what do we need to remember about the symbol? Remember, you don't have to memorize it word for word, right? The important thing is that you understand. Okay, similarity. So take note of similar symbols, because when you see similar symbols, you can group them together, right? Batatha, okay, batatha, okay, that one I've got at the bottom, that one on top, 2 dots, 3 dots. By grouping them similar, but if you're going to ba, and then that's the, and that's the, you're going to take a, you're going to find it's going to be, you're going to be make it difficult where it's not really that difficult. Okay, so correct, as you guys said, similarity. Take note of similar symbols. Okay, the second thing is the letter's name. What do we want to take note in the letter's name? Sorry, I brought it up already. Let me take it away. Okay, quickly. Memorize the first letter, memorize the letter's name with the proper pronunciation. And we said why? Because the sound of the letter is found in the first part of the letter's name. So if you practice from the time you learn the letter and tell yourself, okay, I want to get the name of this letter perfect. If you get the name of the letter perfectly, you shouldn't have much difficulty reading the letter when we just add a vowel, just add an a sound or whatever vowels. We're going to speak about the vowels, right? So that's in terms of name. Excellent. Okay. Memorize the names with proper pronunciation. Thirdly, in terms of sound, go. Who can remember? Excellent. You guys are quick. So focus your attention on letters with no English equivalents, right? And I mean focus your extra attention. And why? Because you have to tell yourself, these other letters, look, I can already pronounce them. You might, I mean, depending, right? So if English is your first language, you will generally not have any difficulty with them. If it's maybe your second language or third language, maybe you'll have some difficulty, right? But at least you will know them. But the letter with no English equivalent is a completely new sound, right? So you have to differentiate. So tell yourself that I already know 70% of the Arabic alphabet. I just need to learn the shapes and the names and I'm all good, right? With regards to the letter with no English equivalents, we will deal with those bits at a time. Okay, so like you guys said, focus on teaching on letters with no English equivalent. Last thing, cursive form. And this one is very important because this really comes down to the reading, right? It comes down to the reading because if you are going to read Arabic text, most of you, even you are a beginner, you must have somewhat memorized some Arabic alphabet, right? Or some of you may even memorize most of it. But if you know it so easily when you're looking at a page with the Arabic alphabet, why can't you know it just as easy when you're looking at the text, right? With the Arabic alphabet found all over. It's the same letters. They are just written a little different, right? Now, instead of learning, okay, this is the isolation, and then, so you don't have to screenshot. I will send this entire slide, right, in summary form to you guys. We'll have everything, immediately after the lesson. So what you want to do is when you see the letter ba, you don't want to memorize, okay, that's the letter ba. Then when it's in the middle of a sentence, it looks different. You say, okay, that's a letter ba. And at the end, so it becomes complicated. No, you are only memorize the letters once, right? And you are going to understand the different forms of the letter. And then, so when you see the letters in a word, tell yourself that this is not something I don't know. I just need to sort of let it sink in, right? That the letters can have different shapes, but you have to look for the primary shape, right? Generally, this thing has a line like that. Generally, this thing is a half a circle. This thing generally has 3 short lines and then a half a circle. Like, you need to know the primary shape because it won't lose that. Either it will lose the half a circle, but some part of it will remain and it will be identifiable. Okay, so that's the fourth key. Okay, alhamdulillah. Let's take a 10-second break. How are you guys finding it so far? Is everyone with me? Is there anyone that is completely lost? So class will end. So this is going to be very quick, right? We're basically done. We're just going to apply what we learned here, right? We're just going to apply what we learned here. And I use these letters because we use them as examples all along. So we should be done with them in no time, right? We're reaching the end, don't worry. Okay, so who is with me so far? Okay, alhamdulillah. Good explanation. Oh, good. Okay, alhamdulillah is the screen. Okay, is there anyone that learned something today? Something that you really didn't know? Like you really did. Is anyone okay? I'm getting some yes answers. Okay, alhamdulillah. I'm really interested in those who don't understand. Okay. Yes, didn't know anything. Okay, alhamdulillah. That is good to hear. Okay. So let's move on to these letters over here. Now we've seen these letters right through all the slides that we spoke about previously, right? So we shouldn't have any difficulty in learning these letters. Now, let's apply what we've learned in a very simple way. So this letter over here, right? Its name is Ba, right? Very simple. So now we know, we can see, we're filling in the gaps already. The letter Ba looks like a boat, the dot at the bottom, and its name is Ba. Ba. Simple. Now you can say Ba, you can make it a bit shorter, Ba, and you can say Ba. The correct way is to say it Ba with sort of like a stop at the end, right? But that's not important, right? Especially there can be a disturbance in the beginning. It's really not important. Or in the modern today, when they teach Arabic alphabet, they say ba, ta, tha, or they even change the name, be, te, the, because the most important thing is the sound, right? So let's say ba, right? So that will be good. So the name of this letter is ba, right? The second thing that we're going to look about, so we see the symbol, right? We see the name. Let's look at the sound. And we said the sound is the first part of the letter's name. When you see that B over there, that's the sound, right? B, B, B. Now, it's sort of like the B in February, right? February. B, Feb, B, B, B. That is the letter B, the sound of letter B. Now, I want you guys to send me some sounds that have the letter B sound in there. Send me some words, sorry. Type quickly. I want to see some words that have the sound in there. Bag, excellent. Okay, banana or banana, book, bench, bismillah, umbrella, umbrella, good, excellent, right? Bakery. I like that you guys are using words that start with the letter B, but let's make it more challenging, right? Give me words with the letter B in the middle or at the end, right? Box, tauba, excellent. Bark, tab. I love that example. Tab, that is the ba 100% precisely. Basket, riba, ba, sabr, b. You see, it's the same letter. Sabr, b. That's the sound. Okay, someone said they couldn't think of any more. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, that's the sound of the letter B. Right, so you don't, if you type, that's excellent, right? If you can't type it fast, follow the chat, right? You will benefit as well. Okay, let's move on to the next letter. Okay, so that February, B is the letter, sound of the letter B, right? So differentiate. We have the shape, we have the name, we have the sound, right? Okay, whoever's drawing on the screen, please stop that. I'm going to figure out how to ban you guys from doing that. Okay, let me just see. If whoever done that can just remove it. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, letter T. Okay, what's it, quickly, what's the difference between this letter and the letter we done before? What's the letter between the letter T and the letter B in terms of shape? Quickly, one person, go. Difference between the letter B and the letter T, the dots, number of dots. The placement of dots, excellent, right? So placement of dots and the number of dots. The letter B has a dot at the bottom, then it has one dot. The letter T has about two dots on top, two dots, and it's on top. Excellent. So two things, right? Let's talk about the sound of the letter T. Look at the name. Can you see the T? The T. Now that is the sound of the letter, because we said the sound is found in the first part of the letter. Okay, give me some words. Let me bring my word over here, right? So I got this cat, and you'll see that I'm not really always using words with the sound is found in the beginning, right? But you guys can give me some words, and I want some words with the sound at the end. Sat, tab, tiger, tiger, excellent. Chocolate, bat, gate, blanket, fat, mat, cat sat in the hat, right? Fate, hat, tablet. You guys are repeating the same words. I'm just having the same mate. Okay. What else? Shoot. Okay. Layout. Okay. So you guys really know these letters. You guys know the sounds. So I don't know what you need me for if you guys can already pronounce these letters, because that same sound. Hate, talk, talk, the same sound. Okay, let's go on to the last letter. Here we go. The letter Th. Quickly, difference between the letter B, T, and Th. Go. 3 dots. Number of dots, right? Number of dots. Okay, so this is good. So I'm getting the number of dots because the letter T and the Th is on the same place, both on top. However, the numbers are different, right? So the T has 2 dots, Th has 3 dots, and the B has 1 dot, but it's at the bottom, right? There's another letter coming that, another 1 letter. Yes, I think it's 2 letters, sorry, that are coming that have dots that you're going to get confused with these letters. So what I want you to do is really look at these letters and understand them, because there are other letters also coming, right? It's only 2 letters. That sometimes people get confused between these letters and those 2 letters. So, but the important thing, if you memorize these letters well, you're going to be good. Okay. Can I get some sounds, right? So it's the combination of TH. right? But not the TH as in that. It's a TH as in math, right? Or think. The same sound. Okay, give me some words. Can I have some words, right? Thankful, teeth, path, thankful, bath, thought, thames. No, the dhikr. Dhikr is the other one. Remember I said in English we have the TH, which is the th, and we have the TH, which is the th, right? The th. So it's not the th, this is the th, faith. That, no, not that, right? So like I said, this one is the th in terms of the like think, right? Right? Give me some thought. Yes, hadith, excellent. Hadith, Thursday, thabit, thabit. Can we see it's that letter? It's that letter over there. It's not any other letter, right? You guys been saying it all along. You guys been saying it on a daily basis. Whoever's name is thabit, right? Lost sound, lost sound. I don't get that. Bath, throw, right? Exactly. Thursday, exactly. No, not dhakira, not dhakira. Now, this is what I want you to take note, right? Now, the letter th and the letter the, right? It's written the same in English, right? Now, sometimes in terms of transliteration, the letter, the sound the, like you guys been saying, right, is written as a DH, right? But I don't like that because if you see DH, not everyone will necessarily know what sound does that make, right? But if I tell you TH, it's either the, like as in that, or as in thought. It's simple. You just need to know that there's a difference. Okay, thought, thunder. Okay, excellent. I think you guys are again running out of words, so let me just save you over there. Okay. Let's do the last thing. So the last thing we're going to speak about, let me check the time. Doing good with time, okay? The last thing we're going to speak about is the cursive form. And remember, I said this is the most important thing. Many of you guys, sorry about that, even you're intermediate or even semi-advanced level, this is where you can really brush up on, right? Really get your eye in on this, of the cursive form. So let's look, in the beginning of a word, look at the letter B. See how it look, right? We already said what happens there, and you can go over the slides and you can see. Look at the letter T. The letter th. Now we said that these letters have the same symbols, but now here's the thing. Let's add on to that. They also have the same shape in the cursive form. So you see, so that already it's we've really taken off a lot of baggage off our shoulders because they have the same symbols and they have the same symbols in the cursive form. Right? Can you guys see that? Can I get some indication about that? You guys with me? Here you see how they all look the same in the beginning of the letter. Okay, excellent. Okay, let's look in the middle of the letter. The middle of a letter, here we go. The same as it is in the beginning, it just has a connector on the side, all right? A connector on the side, because you can't connect letters without a connector, unless it's one of those letters with exceptions. Okay, letter T, you can see there's a connector, and the letter Th has a connector as well. Let's look at the end. The end is actually the easiest one. But you know what? They're all easy. If you see anything challenging about this, let me know, because I don't think there's anything challenging about this. The end, there we go. The letter T, it's the same shape as it is in isolation as you see them in the Arabic alphabet, right? And there we go, letter Th, the same. Now, sometimes you might find them in the original shape as you see them here on the side. But as you see them there, you'll find them like that in a text sometimes, right? You'll find them any of these shapes, but they are all the same letters. Excellent. That's done. So now the practice, what you have over here is for you to do at home on your own time, right? So let me just show you what you'll be doing, right? So if you look at over here, right? So here's practice. So this one, it says, study the following Arabic text closely and then underline the letter ba in its various shapes. So you have to look at this text, right? And underline, or circle really, but I mean underline it. All the letter ba, whether it's found in the beginning of the word and the end of the word, or whether it's kind of in isolation, you underline the letter ba. And the same you're going to do with the letter ta over here, right? And the letter tha over here, right? You're going to look, it's going to take you very quickly, right? And it's going to be a very good, excellent exercise because you are actually now, especially if you're a beginner, you are really starting, you are diving into an Arabic text, but you're diving with tools because you know what you're looking for, right? You're not just running around. You have to ignore everything you don't know and just go for what you know, right? And let's just do a run through of the checklist, and you can check your understanding as you go through the slide. Make sure that you're aware that the Arabic text is written from right to left. Make sure that you recognize the similarities between shapes of the Arabic letters. Make sure that you are aware that the sound of each letter is found in the first part of its name. Also make sure that you're aware that most Arabic letters have English equivalent sounds. Just be aware of that fact and recognize the pattern in the cursive form of the Arabic letters. And lastly, know the letters ba, ta, and tha. Okay? So that concludes our lesson for today.